Wonderful. Welcome to the Innovation in AI student panel. My name is Julia Bourque. I'm a coach in the Career Development Office. I'm here with three wonderful students, and we're going to give you a bit of an overview of Yale SOM, some of their internships in or adjacent to AI and innovation. Before we begin, I just want to note that there will be some time for Q&A. So if you don't mind, please using the Q&A section of your Zoom. That would be really helpful for us instead of using the chat feature. So please, any questions, put those through the Q&A and we'll get to those at the end. So again, a quick introduction of me, and then I'm going to turn it to our panelists. My name is Julia. I've been at Yale since 2013, always in a coaching and career role. At the CDO, we have two teams, the Career Education and Coaching team and the Employer Partnerships team. Career Education and Coaching, we are here for one-on-one appointments with students interested in any area. We offer career workshops, we offer drop-in hours, all the way from the summer before you arrive on campus, all the way through your time as an alum. Our Employer Partnerships team is always working on behalf of students. You may not see them visually all the time, but they are there talking to employers, putting together recruiting events, info sessions, multi-employer recruiting events. And we're always available for quick questions, email, Slack, we're here for students. So that's a little bit about the CDO and me. And I'm joined by Chris, Ash, and Delia. So I'm going to ask for I have a lot of questions for you all, but we're going to just start with some introductions. So we're going to start with kind of our pre-SOM. I'd love to know from each of you, where are you from, where and what did you study, and what did you do prior to coming to SOM? Chris, can we start with you?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Chris. I'm originally from Virginia, and I studied chemistry at the University of Virginia. I also got a master's in business analytics from the University of Virginia back in the day. But prior to business school, I spent about 4.5 years at a boutique analytical consulting firm focused on marketing optimization. So kind of both a combination of data science and the client management consulting sort of role.
Wonderful, thank you. Ash, how about you? Tell us a little bit about your pre-SOM background.
Yeah, so I was a transportation engineer, studied civil engineering at Texas A&M, GIGM. And yeah, I worked for the Texas Department of Transportation for about 4 years in a rotation program. Did a bit of everything from designing the highways to building them, maintaining them. And yeah, I also did a lot of work on educating people on the future mobility. So think about EVs, autonomous vehicles, drones, drone delivery, how that impacts the infrastructure and what we need to think about in the next 10, 20, 30 years. And also help set up the drone program as well, which was a great time. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And Delia, how about your pre-SOM experience?
Hi, everyone. Glad you are here with us. I'm an international student. So before SOM, I was living in Peru. I'm Peruvian. And my undergrad is on industrial engineer, but I spent all my professional life since graduation until before coming to SOM, working for banks and insurance companies. I am mostly focused on transformation digital products. It can vary from workflow to digital loan.
Wonderful, thanks. We have a little bit of your backgrounds. And of course, today on this panel, we want to talk about your transformation through SOM, what you did over the summer, and that integration of maybe AI and innovation in some of your summer internships. So for each of you, I'll give a kind of a quick title and introduction of what you did over the summer, but then I'm going to ask for you to dive into that a little bit more for our audience. So Delia, for example, you interned at Apple, in trust and safety and AI safety. Could you tell us a little bit more about let's bring it into that internship. So why SOM and why did you move into that internship?
Yeah, so why SOM first? I do believe once you are connecting with people from the community, you really feel that you are part of the community, even when you're just an applicant. People can really make you feel that they are here for you and they can help you. And I think after the first year, and Ash and Chris can probably say the same, you do feel that all our friends on our class, we are very collaborative and we really want everyone to succeed. And I think the second part of why, and that kind of relates with my internship, it's that I really wanted to use my skills, my professional skills, to generate some kind of impact. And Yale is very driven into impact in different kinds of way. It doesn't matter where you are. You can be in IB or consulting or tech, and you can still generate that impact in the world. And that's what I wanted to pivot from what I was doing before. And I was very open during my search for internships. And I think I had some skills that were very suitable working on safety, especially on AI, that it's something very new and you really need to get to be aware that you don't have all the answers, but you still need to deliver something. And that's something that I used to do. And I really loved it. But maybe we can discuss about it after.
Absolutely. So that's great. We'll definitely come back to kind of the ins and outs of those specific internships and what part AI came into those. So Ash, I'm going to go in reverse order. Ash, could you tell us a little bit about why SOM? How did that kind of lead to your summer internship, which was at a leading AI ML autonomous drone startup, and you were a PM intern this past summer?
Yeah, so I think for me, like it's not just about the technology, right? Like, developing technology is great, but also understanding the impacts of, say, how does that impact the workforce? How does that impact, job development? How does it impact training? How does that impact society? And I think Yale is not just SOM, but the broader university, which we have a lot of access to. It's a great opportunity to just learn about things that you normally would never hear about or consider. And so for me, like just having access to amazing professors, not only at SOM, but also folks from Jackson and law school. And I attend a lot of their AI events and just understanding different perspectives outside of, we just want to build this technology without thinking about the broader implications. Yeah. And then what was the second part to the question?
Just kind of how did that decision to come to SOM kind of impact what you wanted to do for your summer internship? And it sounds so interesting because Delia, you were at Apple, and Ash, you were at a startup. So it sounds
Yes.
like there's a lot of opportunities to make an impact in a variety of companies.
Yeah. So I was at I can talk more a bit more about this, but Skydio, which is an AI autonomous drone late stage startup, and it was very interesting to see, being able to build that technology and also see in real time of here are some of the companies like plans and vision, and being able to think about sort of broad implications, which I can talk more about in a little bit. But
Great.
it was just great hands-on experience.
Wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. And Chris, tell us a little bit about, so Chris, you interned, excuse me, at HP. You were also a PM intern for data science and AI. So tell us a little bit about kind of coming into SOM and kind of looking ahead to how maybe that decision brought you to your summer internship.
Yeah, so I think the why SOM is a little bit twofold. It's one, the people aspect, and two, the mission of both business and society. All the conversations I had with current students applying to business school felt a really strong fit with the folks I talked to at SOM. And then that kind of business and society aspect, being able to amplify the impact that I have in my future career was a strong reason why I wanted to join SOM. How that kind of led into me being at HP. Tech was something that I became pretty passionate about in my prior role. The technology that we leveraged kind of really inspired me to try to pivot into that space. And the kind of mission of HP and Yale SOM, there's like an alignment there of bettering people through technology. So I thought it was a great opportunity to kind of experience that impact.
Wonderful. Thank you. Also, I hear a lot of themes, really the people. Ash, you definitely also brought up kind of Yale as a whole and that access. So thank you for sharing some of those insights. Let's dig into your internships. You all kind of touched upon them very briefly, but now let's get into them further. So this panel is AI and innovation. You all had AI, at least adjacent roles in your summer internships. So I'd love to dig into that. Tell the audience, how did AI impact? How did you work with AI? How did you use it? What was that integration with your summer internship in how you made an impact during your summer internship? I'll leave it open. Anyone who wants to start with this. I've been telling people, but now you can volunteer.
I mean, I'm happy to go first, go back in
Great.
reverse order again. But yeah, so I was at HP. I was in the Advanced Compute Solutions division, and I was on like the AI data science product marketing team. It's more of like a PMM role. My background in marketing and my passion for tech really combined into this role in developing a marketing strategy for a newly developed AI software solution that HP has recently launched called AI Studio. While my like hands-on use of AI wasn't really a main portion of the role, being familiar with the product landscape of AI and this like niche software as a service business that is kind of emerging in the field at the moment was crucial in my success as an intern. So a lot of my time over the summer was spent researching the competitive dynamics of that space and how to approach a go-to-market strategy and what a marketing strategy might look like in the future. So a lot of learning. I'll pause there and maybe give somebody else a chance to answer.
I can go next. So I was working in the trust and safety team at Apple. My role was AI safety, and they call them product advisor, but I think it's kind of a program manager role. And I was directly working, understanding with the AI ML team how they have this process of responsible AI, and how, while understanding that, we can improve the safety of the Apple Intelligence, and working directly with maybe red teaming with other teams at Apple wanting to use Apple Intelligence too for internal use or external use. So it was, I think I spent most of my summer trying to understand the architecture and technical part, but also same as Chris, what are other developing companies doing in terms of safety? What is safety for Apple too, in this kind of a strategy in terms of AI and safety in general?
Yeah, happy to. I guess I'm going next. Yeah, so I think twofold. One is personal use, and second is what the company is doing. So in a personal use, I use Perplexity, which is like Google meets ChatGPT search every single day, just to learn a lot about things that I had no idea what the engineers were talking about. So personally, I love it. And then the second part of what the company's doing. So it's an autonomous drone, so it'll, you can set it and it'll fly itself. So I worked a little bit on that, just understanding how the computer vision works, how that integrates to the entire system. Then the second part that we were working on, and it's still early on, is once you have a drone up in the sky, what else can you do, right? Let's say facial recognition, for example, or like suspect recognition. There's this whole ecosystem opportunities that the company, because we're still a startup, like we're just getting there. But I expect a lot more challenges in the future of, okay, let's say we do have a drone or drones in the sky and it can recognize people. What are the implications on, let's say, privacy, for example? You're in New York City and you have drones flying above you 24/7, right? How do you engage with the public on that? How do first responders and police think about, as they build up the drone program, the implications of the technology itself? So yeah, I think my experience was a lot more just practical in terms of AI and leveraging that, in a specific industry, and it's a great a lot of lessons learned from the Yale community and thinking about how that impacts what we do as a company.
Great, these are all so interesting. I always love talking to our Yale SOM students because I learn so much and I always find what the work you're doing so fascinating. Thank you so much I'm going to ask you all, we have a ton of wonderful questions. I just have one more question for you all before we dive into our participant questions, which is really just talking about the career resources that you've found most helpful during your you can go from your first year at Yale, you're all second years now. So really any time during your journey at Yale, what resources have you found most helpful? Ash, can I start with you this time?
Sure. So I came from a civil engineer background, so nothing related to, hardware or software. And so I really tried my first year to develop a lot of those skills because I knew that we're trying to pivot to tech, especially in this economy. You got to build up your skills, and a lot of the resources for being part of the AI Association, which I'm now co-president of. Taking a lot of classes right now. I'm taking CS50, which is intro to coding, and then I'm taking intro to AI. Just started this large language model class. Having some hands-on experience with SciCity on a product innovation intensive. So just really building a lot of those skills that I knew, given my background, I didn't have, and being very intentional. And I think Yale SOM and also the broader Yale community has a lot of resources if you're willing to, put in the effort and spend some time.
Sure, and I remember crossing paths with you a few times during your first year, which was always so fun to hear about your interests, and so glad that worked out for you over your summer, Ash. Wonderful. Delia, could you share a little bit about those career resources you found most helpful?
Yeah, I think I'm adding to what Ash said. I also think that the Yale community has a lot of opportunities for you to build up your skill sets. But on the other side, I think when I was going through interviews, reaching out to SOM alumni, I think they gave me a lot of their time. That those are busy people. They're out like for 2 years now. But they really sat down with me and doing run rides, like, let's practice your interview. What are you gonna say? Maybe add this or that, and really showing me how working at Apple and all the other that I interview was very special for me and really gave me an advantage, I think.
Great, and Chris, any career resources?
Yeah, for me, definitely the CDO coaches. So whether or not that's like direct meetings with coaches or just the quick questions during open hours, I found that extremely helpful during my first year. And then there's also these great workshops that I got a lot of value out of. And kind of as both of my peers have mentioned, the alumni network, and I think Yale SOM does a great job of keeping a list of where folks go or where they've been in the past. That's really helpful in having those targeted conversations as opposed to surfing LinkedIn. But yeah.
Wonderful, absolutely. Thank you all so much. I'm going to dive into some questions that our participants have asked. So the first one I'm actually going to address quickly first, and then would welcome anyone else to comment. So the first is, how do you go about navigating AI products or services that actually work versus ones that are maybe mostly hype? I just want to note that one of the resources that the CDO coaches and team offer to SOM students is one called VMOC. It's a resume reviewer, and also it gives feedback on interviews. So you can select questions, provide your answers, and it'll give you AI feedback. And one of the ways that we've tested this is we've used it ourselves. I went through multiple times the tell me about yourself question, as a coach, to make sure that some of the feedback that I was receiving made sense for students. So use, at least from our office. But I don't know if this came up in your internships at all, or maybe in your past jobs. If not, that's okay. I'll give you space to think about that. Okay, so I wanted to actually go on to this next question, which Delia is specific to you, but of course I want everyone to be involved. So I'm going to broaden the question a little bit more so to pivoting and transferable skills. So you all came from different pre-SOM backgrounds and you pivoted into these new internship roles. This person says, you know, working at Apple's trust and safety team is a dream of mine. What skills set you up to be successful in that position? So I'm just going to broaden that a little bit. So Chris and Ash, you can answer as well. Were there transferable skills that you really honed in on, or specific things that you did during recruiting that really set you up for success? So Delia, I'm going to start with you though.
Yes, sure. I think working cross-functional is a must. I will say in every company, but here on AI, you really need to have this 360 eyes on how Ash said, like how this tool is going to impact internal clients, external clients, on what regard. And I think the curriculum at the beginning, like having eyes on the workforce, having eyes on competitors, and all of those really helped me to keep building this cross-functional eyes, cross-functional skill set to build these bridges while building these AI tools in terms of safety.
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in. So, and to your last question, I definitely like the VMOC stuff. But for this one, I think the professional club curriculum is a super helpful bridge to kind of making that transition from one career path to another. It's definitely a significant amount of work. I think that was something that I didn't expect coming into it, but there is a lot of helpful resources that whether it's the tech club or the consulting club provide and team up people to prepare for interviews.
Great. And Ash, can I also ask that in answering kind of what transferable skills did you lean on, or skills did you gain, and kind of what set you up for success? Can I actually add, Chris mentioned clubs, and you mentioned that you're co-chair of the AI club. Do you mind also talking a little bit about kind of that club's curriculum for our audience?
Yeah, so to answer the second part of your question first, we officially became a club last spring. So curriculum is still in development, I'll be honest. But the club itself, it's just a good opportunity to bring on speakers, having some hands-on workshop. We have a workshop this Wednesday that I'm leading actually on perplexity, and like how do you use that effectively and searching, no, how do you prompt correctly? How do you even think about what it can do? So a lot of the, I think, transferable skills that I had was being on the other side of, helping set up programs with technology. So setting up the drone program, it was great experience into the insights of, being on the client side. And so being on the autonomous drone side and actually building the technology, being able to understand the customer, because I was the customer. And I think on a higher level note, right, whether it's drones or just ChatGPT or any AI technology, any technology in general, it helps a lot just being able to use the technology and think about, if you want to work for this company or an AI company in general, how are people using it? How are people interacting with it? What are some of the frustrations, and being able to bring that perspective? And I think we, as the AI Association, but also at the SOM and the Broader University, there are so many opportunities for you to get hands-on experience or just meet folks, rather than just sitting in a classroom setting and learning about AI.
Wonderful, thank you all. I'm going to combine it. Some of these questions are fairly similar, so I'm going to kind of combine them. It's something we've touched upon a bit. Delia, you mentioned some courses. So are there any specific courses you've taken maybe to explore the AI space, or equip you for your summer internships? Anything you're taking now for your post-grad interests? Would love to talk about the curriculum a little bit more in terms of this space.
Yes. So I wanted to take classes before my internship. They are very, everyone wants them. So I couldn't take those before my internship. but now I'm taking a class at the Jackson School of Public Affairs and Global Affairs. It's called AI and Emerging Technologies and National Power. It's amazing, and it's kind of a lecture-based class. So we always have these guests coming to talk from the government, from the safety center, with the Safety Institute, and we kind of discuss different topics around AI. And I think what I like the most is now we are discussing about AI, but in 5 years, maybe something new will come up. So we need to build frameworks and trying to understand how new technologies, emerging technologies, how they call it, will impact society and how we can provide tools that can be safe for everyone to use, regardless of the backgrounds that you may have or the context that you are while using these tools. So that's one class. And I think at SOM, we also have LLM class that, again, I tried to bid for those and I couldn't get in, but maybe Chris or Ash are taking those with Professor.
Yeah, Chris, do you want to share a few notes on courses or curriculum that you've taken at Yale?
Yeah, I think at least in my experience with my internship working on kind of a newly developed product, Innovator as part of the core really helped me think about just like how new products compete or what that landscape looks like, as well as like designing and running business experiments as being part of the product marketing team. Having those adaptable strategies when it comes to go-to-market marketing strategies really helped me build that lens out. And then lastly, just in terms of like the post-grad interests, I'm taking competitive strategy right now. Again, all these are kind of like on the business end of stuff as opposed to maybe like the hardcore AI, like technical side of stuff, but I really like how that class helps me think about how to compete in this landscape.
Thanks, Chris. And Ash.
Yeah. I think one of the things that makes Yale or SOM and also Bourque University is that it's not just about technology, but it's also business and society. And I think understanding that, I guess, our competitive advantage of when you enter tech or AI or whatever, being able to bring in those conversations of understanding how that impacts people and societies. And yeah, I think there are a lot of the curriculum is kind of structured around the broader picture of not just this, but also thinking about the implications. And I also see that reflected in even some of these AI courses as well. So I'm taking Intro to AI, which is a course at Jackson, and we talk about technology, but also the implications and looking back at the history and understanding how technology has advanced throughout time. So not always completely AI related, but like having that different mindset helps set you apart and bring in something different wherever you go, whether it's at a startup or a large company. And of course, I'm taking the LM class, management software development, CS50, just to build up my some of my technical abilities and communication skills on the technical side. So a lot of opportunities.
Thank you. Those all sound like such amazing classes. And I see a few being taken at the Jackson School. It's so interesting. We have another question that's just come in that I think also segues well from what we've just talked about in terms of these classes and how they set you up for maybe an internship, but also post-grad. So let's talk a little bit about some post-grad plans. You know, you have all come to SOM, likely to pivot. So I guess that first question is, you know, what are you transitioning into from your pre-SOM experience? Are you potentially going back to the companies you interned for? And if not, just what are your post SOM MBA goals?
I can start. So hopefully I will be able to come back. I love it there. It was amazing, like a dream working at Apple. But with the tech companies, it all depends on headcount. So we need to wait to see but regardless of that, I do want to keep the AI space for my future career. So I'm also looking for opportunities in different companies, big ones or small or even startups who are really thinking about AI, but they have this component of safety or governance or responsibility that they might want to enhance in their companies. So I'm looking for those roles in terms of the scope of the job, but then on the more role, I want to keep the kind of program manager. I think I really enjoy making things happen. So if I can find something combined with those two things, I will be more than happy for my post-SOM career.
Wonderful. Thanks, Delia. And either Chris, Chris, great. I saw your mute come off. Great.
Sure. Yeah. So I came in to school with like the idea of going into either tech or consulting, and being able to work in tech over the summer has really kind of changed my mind. Tech is definitely a space that I'm super excited about in my future career. So, looking to stay in that kind of space.
Wonderful. Thanks, Chris. And Ash.
Yeah, also looking to stay within the, I guess, future mobility realm or something AI related. Uh, I did recruit for try to recruit for consulting, didn't really enjoy it too much, but good learning opportunity. And I think recruiting for tech is a bit different. You have it's not as structured, and there's a lot of FOMO when you see your classmates getting consulting, banking offers like end of the year, and then you're still job hunting until a few months after. But I think it's worth it, right? I want to do something that makes me happy, that makes an impact, and I think tech or the AI realm in general is a great place to be.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, just as a from my career education and coaching hat, noting that really IB and consulting are the very structured fall recruiting processes. Sometimes there's a bit of a misconception that tech is structured. It's really not anymore. Opportunities can rise at any time. I do see a question from a student kind of about, recruiting in tech. And we see, I mean, Delia at Apple, excuse me, and Chris at I'm sorry, HP. Yes, wonderful. Okay. And Ash was at a startup, there's a lot of opportunity across that space. We do just kind of mention, that's great. That's our North Star for maybe some of these larger tech firms. And also there's so much tech out there beyond just the names that we know with really cool opportunities. So that's where coaches and setting up one-on-one appointments with coaching can really help you target, use the alumni network, and expand as well into something, Ash mentioned doing something that really is meaningful. But at least for me, I wasn't as familiar with the startup he was at. So what had a really wonderful summer as well. So I hope that kind of addresses the question, is that we can really work with a student, whether they're an international student or they're a domestic US student, to get a really great summer opportunity and beyond. So I wanted to make sure that we get some of the questions also that came in pre-webinar. So I'm just curious, so you mentioned a few times that some of you have taken classes outside of SOM. Are there opportunities to engage with students across Yale beyond just taking classes? So you've mentioned, Delia, you're taking a class at Jackson, and so are you, Ash. What are the other opportunities, and I can jump in as well, but what are the other opportunities to engage with students beyond the classroom in the Yale University ecosystem? Okay, I'm going to jump in. Oh, Delia, go ahead, please. Yeah,
yes,
go ahead.
So I think being part of the clubs, it's like a main thing. If you also want to expand the people that you know. For example, I am also the co-president at the ALAS Club, and we are really trying to do these mixers with people from other schools, the YSE, the public health, etc., and trying to build those connections with them. Besides, as you said, the classes, I also think they're a very great way to get to know people, not only for other professional schools, but also from undergrad. People are already working in very cool stuff. So I think that's very interesting.
Wonderful. And Ash, I see you're unmuted. Go ahead.
Yeah, and to add on to that, with clubs, I'm again co-president of the AI Association here, and this year we are really trying to just bring in a lot of AI experts, researchers from across the university. So folks from Jackson and folks from the law school, Digital Ethics Center, and a lot of different like organizations within Yale, and also even the office of the provost as well. Having conversations with them, and it's just such a great way to meet people. At least on the club side. And on a more personal side, there's just so many events like Jackson Law School, even medical school as well. Even I think the Divinity School as well. They have like a conference on AI and something with humanities or something. Very interesting. So a lot of these different departments are very engaged in AI, and you can just go to these conferences, go to these events and speakers, and just meet people. Just understand now how that impacts what you do here at SOM.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ash and Delia. And something that I was going to add is that there's also, while it might not touch AI specifically, depending on the startup, but certainly innovation is Sci-City and Yale Ventures, as well as Yale SOM's program on entrepreneurship. These are all things that you can look up, look more into. Again, Sci-City, Yale Ventures, and the program on entrepreneurship. I wanted to note those three areas as ways to engage. I certainly could include that AI space, but certainly the innovation space as well. So we are starting to wrap up. I have two more questions really that I want to get your perspectives on. This one is kind of about our city. Can you share with us maybe 2 or 3 things that you enjoy about living and going to school in New Haven, Connecticut?
I know this one.
Great.
I really like being able to call someone of my friends and just say, hey, do you want to go to have a glass of wine and just like eat something? And I don't know, maybe it's because we have a lot of international students. You can find foods from everywhere. We have 2 Peruvian restaurants. That's kind of weird because we're in New Haven. But that proximity with everyone and having this like walkable distance to everywhere, mostly, I really, really enjoy that.
I can't believe we've gone this far without talking about pizza. The New Haven pizza, I think it's great. We're really spoiled out here. And I think the like accessibility to New York is another aspect of New Haven that is kind of important to me. I've got a lot of friends there. It's easy to hop on the train. Yeah, and we also get really good live music. So those are 3 things.
Live music at small venues. Yeah.
Yep.
Ash, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I wish I had more time to do is Yale has just so many concerts and events from famous people around the globe, and they just come here and just perform. So a lot of opportunities and to just expand your mind and just enjoy for free all the things that Yale has. And plus 2 would be just exploring campus. It's a beautiful campus, and I hope that you guys don't spend all your time at just SOM, but also walk around and look at some of the architecture. Just appreciate just everything that's here. Beautiful campus, especially at night.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you all. I'm going to add my 2 because I've been in New Haven, in the New Haven area for 10 years, is I love the proximity to nature. A lot of hiking trails in East Rock Park, as well as the shoreline. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up with one more question. What advice do you have for candidates preparing to apply to Yale SOM? What do you wish you had known when you were applying? I'll give you a second to think about that and jump in when you're ready. before I call on someone?
I
Chris,
think
can you
that-
start? Oh,
Sure,
wait,
yeah.
I see.
No,
I
Yeah,
see.
cool.
Chris, you go.
Okay. I mean, I was gonna say, I don't think I would have done much different when I applied, or like looking back. But one thing I guess I would have done differently is kind of in that outreach to current students. I think I would have done more outreach. Like now being in my shoes, everybody who's a current student is really happy to talk to prospective students. I used to think that that was like a big ask, but in reality, it's not. And then like maybe doing a little bit more research on like courses to help facilitate those conversations would be kind of a cool piece of advice, but nothing like major that I would have done different.
Great, thanks, Chris. And Delia?
Yeah, I think for me was to really, really remember that this is a holistic process and that they do review, like the admissions team to review everything from your profile. So you cannot only focus on your tests or only focus on your essays. You need to keep everything together and cohesive. And this is your story, and this is you who you are showing to admissions team. So just showcase your best self the best way you can, and make sure that all the pieces together speak about yourself. I think that's something that I would like to remember.
Thanks. And Ash?
Yeah, so I'm also the co-president of our First General Income Club, and we actually just became a club last spring, so helping to officially make it a club. For me, I think just applying the MBA journey was difficult. I'll be honest. Like no one in my family, none of my friends really knew anything about the MBA. Um, and it was quite a journey. And I think one thing maybe that would have done differently, but appreciate more. It come from a more non-traditional background. Just appreciate the work that whether you get in or not, or you get waitlisted. I was waitlisted. Um, it's a big achievement. Just going through the application process, and you learn a lot about yourself. And I think being kinder to myself and give myself a pat in the back because it's a challenging process.
Thank you so much. So those are really great pieces of advice. Chris, you mentioned kind of reaching out to current students. Happy to answer your questions. I see that it's been dropped in the chat, the link to reach out to student ambassadors. Delia, thanks for sharing, really including your whole self in that application. They all tie together. And Ash, giving yourself grace, being kind to yourself, applying is a big process. Those are really great pieces of advice. So I really appreciate you sharing that. So we're going to wrap up. Thank you, Chris, Ash, Delia. Your time is so appreciated. I've had such a pleasure speaking with you and hearing about your time at SOM. So just want to say a huge thank you for being here with us. It's just been so much fun. And to the participants, thank you everyone for joining us.